Here we are again. Day 1, year 6. Shooting Redemption.
STARGATE, the comedy.
That's a twist.
Michael, season 6, day 1, how's it going?
I think it's going well.
Day 1, season 6, how's it going for you?
It was a great day when I managed to say a few of the words that were written.
Which words did you have trouble with?
Any that had more than one syllable.
Close the blast doors.
We're gonna blow something up now. Ray Douglas, special effects. Tell us what kind of safety precautions you personally take.
I cower like a child, large balls of cotton in my ears, and I usually let Scott do it so I don't get in trouble.
I'm in charge of the lightning.
How long do you want this to last, this duration on this little...
It should be pretty quick, because otherwise it becomes all
There's
small.
16 hits, so I'll just go pop, 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 pop.
Open the iris.
And spin it.
Energy transfer is increasing. 7 times greater, 8, 10.
And lightning. And explosion.
Close the iris.
Hey,
What'd you put in there to blow that stuff up?
some match heads and a ping pong ball.
Wow.
Lots of match heads.
You guys are good.
And some chicken feathers.
Camera blocking is one of the first things a director has to do before you sit down in a studio and start shooting. So I do a lot of mine here in my living room. One of the reasons for it is because, especially in a double episode like Redemption, what ends up happening is that every department has a million questions. If I'm sitting in the office, everybody comes and asks me questions. Props has questions, set design has questions, set decorating has questions, costumes has questions. Everybody has questions that need to be answered. And so I never get any of my own work done, which is sitting and actually blocking the show out. It starts out for me with a script. I get the script and sit down and read it the first time through. If I have any notes that jump out at me immediately, transitions from scene to scene, things that don't work properly for me in the script, because a lot of times the script changes drastically from the first writer's draft. So I'll make little notes and dog-ear the page so I can go in and complain to the people I have to complain to about it. Area 51 hangar. 2 giant doors crack and roll open, revealing SG-1, Jonas, and 2 armed security guards. They look in, a huge hangar housing a very cool-looking airplane. What the writers didn't know when they wrote this was that hangar doors generally don't open splitting like that. In Canada, at least in the airports that we've got around here, they open from here. So, hangar doors split here, open up, revealing our characters. In behind them, hopefully we'll have some planes. Okay, so O'Neill, Jonas, Tilk, and Carter. They walk in. Next up, they turn around and they see the X-302. So there's Tilk reaching up and touching the bottom of the ship. They're looking into the cockpit. Carter and Murphy are looking up.
I thought you'd like to see the prototype as soon as it was completed.
As you will see when we get out there, only this part of the X-302 actually exists, and it'll be sitting up on top of a big crate in here. Okay? The trick to doing this, obviously, is to make it look as real as possible. So you tie in pieces like this, making it organic. This, again, makes the audience feel like, makes everybody, me included, feel like there really is an X-302 sitting there. Okay, you're not going to believe this. This is how we make
unloading the program.
the sky.
No, I know, but
After a hard day at 40,000 feet, I like to settle back with a nice, cold Hamm's beer. 3-2 gets me there.
Who are you?
Jonas Quinn.
Oh, the alien with a wacky naquita.
It was really about how do we incorporate Jonas Quinn into the team. It was originally just a one-parter, and I started writing and realized that while the whole X-302 story and saving the planet from a new business attack was obviously the main thrust of the story, another large part of it had to be about who the new member of SG-1 was. So in fact, the whole first act of the show became about who was going to replace Daniel, and that Jonas really wanted to, and then the rest of the story started to evolve. And I got to the end of Act 4, I think, and was on page, I don't know, 45 or 50, and realized our scripts are usually about 45 pages long, and realized I still had a lot to go. So I called Brad and said, I think I've got a two-parter.
All I can do is try and change what happens from now on. I don't want you to exonerate me. I just want to be given the opportunity to prove that I can make a difference.
I don't want it to be too comfortable. We can't just fall into, well, there the four of us go off exploring the galaxy, the new SG-1. It can't be that easy. It's never that easy. I mean, if you think about how the group dynamic changed and grew over 5 years, to suddenly introduce a new element and expect them to replace the person that was there before is wrong.
Out of respect for Daniel's character and what he meant to SG-1, I thought it was important to really make it hard for Jonas to get his point across that he wanted to be on the team, and I don't think any one of the team members would just accept him right away.
I wanted to be true to the friendship between Sam and Daniel, and I felt that if I walked in blasé, because also recognizing that this is the first time the audience has seen Daniel's lab with somebody else in it. If I were to be too blasé about him being in there, reading Daniel's books, going through Daniel's stuff, making himself at home, then it wouldn't be true to the character or to the relationship.
They don't realize the threat that's out there. I can help them by helping you. I can also help finish what Dr. Jackson started.
Jonas, I understand why you want to join SG-1. And I'm sorry, but I just don't see it happening. I think partly because of Corin's presence, you're trying to establish a new dynamic and figure out what that dynamic is.
It was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I miss him terribly. But it allows me to do other things, like actually learn my lines in between setups, and to work on things like scripts and stuff like that. And whereas previously, we'd be in there, goofing off, telling jokes or just talking about life or whatever.
It's also, to be honest, weird from an actor's perspective, because Michael, Christopher, and I spent the pilot living in each other's pockets when we all lived at the hotel together for 6 weeks and got to know each other as people and had this whole shared experience on set and off.
I'm looking forward to, how well I fit in with the group. Just like how Jonas has to fit in with the SG-1 and SGC. The same thing has to do with me and everybody else here. You know what I mean? I also have to find out exactly what position I play as Coronemic with this group of creative individuals. Dr. Jackson is gone.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Not a day goes by when I don't think about what happened. I stood by and watched while he saved my people from disaster. It should have been me who jumped through the glass, disarmed the device, and he's gone because I didn't. You have to live with that, so do I.
You want me to make you feel better? It wasn't your fault. I don't blame you.
I actually wrote the first episode with Jonas in it, so in a way everyone else has kind of had to follow my lead.
The one part about it now is just creating the character, you know, discovering what, you know, who this guy is, and that's something that we'll all do together, myself as an actor and then the writers.
It's a real give and take thing where we see the dailies and see what the actors are doing with the part, and we try and incorporate those elements into the scripts, and so it all evolves from there, and you just try and stay true to the idea of that character's arc. And in Jonas's case, it's to prove himself to us that he's actually a very courageous guy who wants to be a part of our cause.
And I think that as the newness starts to wear off for the character being in this new world, on this new planet, and everything, I think that the real root of who he is will be well defined at that point, and I'm pretty excited about who that guy is going to be. According to the test Dr. Fraser administered, I have the ability to learn much quicker than the average human.
All very interesting information, but
I want to join you. Explore other planets, discover new worlds, new cultures, help rid the galaxy of the Goa'uld.
I get the picture.
What I'm pushing toward, which hopefully will manifest itself later on down the line, is a very well assimilated individual who has no characteristics of being from another planet. Clear skies, 73 degrees.
There are at least 500 other channels, you know.
But this one is fantastic. I mean, you have all of your weather from all over your planet right here.
There'll be a different dynamic within the group, certainly. But you know, Daniel's presence, I think, will be felt throughout the show. But I was pleasantly surprised by Corin and how well he's working out and how well he's fitting in. So it's definitely gone beyond anything that I expected. And you know, he's just a super nice guy.
I'm okay. I wasn't ready. I'm ready now. The character's new to the show, so he brings a whole new point of view and he's experiencing everything in a new unit of time. So I think for the audience, even for the audiences who've been watching the show for the last 5 years, or new audience members, they get to either the new ones get to relearn kind of what's already happened in the past, and then the people who've been watching the show get to kind of re-experience the show in a new light. You know what I mean? Because of the enthusiasm of the character and his interest in what's going on around him.
Now, if you watched Summit and Last Stand, in Summit, there are only 3 hallways that had to look like 20. Different places that they needed to be walking around. And of course, at the same time, you've got Daniel and you walking around in these hallways. You've got other system lords walking around in the hallways. So the trick to doing it with a standing set, when you build a standing set, is to actually make it look twice as long. Sometimes you'll have them turn a corner and they're actually just coming the other direction in there. Enemies was exactly the same thing. But in Enemies, we actually had to make 2 different ships out of the same hallways. So if you go back and take a look at Enemies, you'll find that there's all these different hallways and 2 different ships. Well, it's the same hallway, we just put braziers in it. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Scene 148, the SGC corridor, and I'm actually going to take our long hallway and make it twice as long as it really is. I'll actually start them coming down this way. Carter on that side, McKay on that side. They'll walk all the way down to the end here. Once they get down here, they'll stop in this position. McKay here and Carter here. Okay, camera is here and has been with them the whole time. Now this will end up in an over, McKay to Carter. Now, when I turn around and shoot this direction right here, I'm actually not going to do it right here. I will shoot the reverse up at this end. So, we've seen the hallway from this way looking back that way. Now we're going to see it from this way looking back this way now. So I would put Carter here, McKay here. And what it'll look like is that our hallway is actually twice as long. What's interesting about this show is that we're using exactly the same room for 3 different things in a row. I'm going from the gymnasium where they're having the boxing match into the cafeteria, and it is exactly the same room. And then immediately right after that, we go out into the hall and we see Braytac coming through that room again. The utility room will actually just be turned into an addendum to the gate room. And all three of those scenes are back to back in this, which is kind of neat because you'll see the way that we do this, exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, first team! Come on, let's go! We're waiting for Chris.
We're waiting for Tony.
This is one of our more dangerous shots that we've done today. There's high probability of. And camera, action! This is Dan Shea. He's going to do something amazing with you guys. Some intricate fight choreography. You've done this, and then you do your cool little thing. Spin it 10,000 times, and then you're shooting off in here somewhere. So he turns, fires it that way. You turn, go that way. Okay.
So start here, right? And he wants an underhand softball thing. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you shoot back in approximately the same direction and get the second guy.
Okay.
And that's it.
You must move!
First of all, it was great to see Neil Dennis, who plays Ryak, and I haven't seen him for a couple years. And last time I saw him, he was a boy. Now he's a young man. So I thought it would be interesting that was actually paralleled in the script. So it was interesting for me to relate to him, not only as a character on the show, but also as a person. And I think that made a lot of the scenes really work because of the different dynamic of our interpersonal relationship.
We've always had this idea about revisiting Teal'c and his son and his wife and what's been going on with that. And, you know, I thought that whole destroying the weapons subplot would be a really nice backdrop for Ryak's coming of age as a warrior story. And also Ryak trying to prove to Teal'c that he can be a strong warrior, redeem himself in the eyes of his father because he feels guilty and somehow responsible for the events that took place during Bloodlines, in which he was brainwashed by Apophis. And I thought there was an opportunity for a great scene, which I think Chris Judge, you know, does some of the best acting I've seen him do in the series. Explains to Ryak that he had the same thing happen to him.
Whether you believe in me or what I have chosen to do does not change the fact that I have never doubted your heart, Ryak. You need never win back my trust, my son, for you have never lost it.
So what do you think the high points of this show are?
When Carter and O'Neill are flying in the X-302.
That's the coolest part?
I think that whole bit where they're flying around and the 302 itself and all the visual effects that go around it and the cockpit stuff and you know, trying to save the planet. I think they're spending a lot more time and money on visual effects. I think there's more of them and they're bigger. And I think they look much cooler than they used to.
SG-1, you have a go.
Thank you, sir.
Big crane move for the very end of the whole movie here. They won't stop there, guys, so just keep moving.